So he did me a big favor. Anyway, now we know this account pretty well. A lot of it, I think most of us have heard this. Moses gets in trouble because he just got aggravated, it seems like, with all of Israel. And he doesn't get to go lead everybody into the promised land. I've heard preachers talk about this one, I don't know how many times. And I'm going to take a little different angle on this. Because personally, I have always had a problem with this story. Because I always try to put myself in Moses' shoes and think, you're Moses. You're well over 100 years old. You've been putting up with all these people in the wilderness for 40-some years. They finally get to you, and now you don't get to lead everybody in the promised land. And I'll give Moses credit. After all this happened, if you read on, pretty much he just keeps on going. Basically, Moses says, okay, and goes with it. I don't think I would have reacted that way, and that's why I have a problem with this. And not that I have a problem with God, it's just me personally, I don't know how well I would have handled this situation. Because a lot of times you'll see in the Bible they have the little headings to kind of help you explain what's going on. I always joke and call them the non-Bible part of the Bible, because somebody added it later. And this one, this is one of the Pew Bibles. It has it like in the top margins here. It says, Moses smites the rock. Those of you on the internet looking at it. I'm curious to see what that's going to look like. Now on the next page, like I said, that heading would have, if I had been Moses, that heading would have been called The Meltdown. Bible scholars would have been spending centuries, thousands of years dissecting that meltdown if it had been me. Because maybe I just feel bad for Moses. Like, all the stuff he had to put up with, and they finally got to him. But he didn't act that way, and it's a good thing. Because if you flip through into the New Testament, and they mention Moses a lot. A lot of times they're talking about maybe the law of Moses, contrasting, that's the right word, not comparing, contrasting it with the New Testament. But when they actually talk about Moses personally, to my knowledge, they have nothing but good things to say about him in the New Testament. For example, if you flip to, give me a minute, Hebrews 3:5. And Moses verily was faithful in all his house as a servant, for testimony of those things which were to be spoken after. Not only was he talked well of, he gets a cameo in the New Testament. He gets to pop up for a little while in there. Matthew 17:1-3. It's talking about the transfiguration. And after 6 days, Jesus taketh Peter and James and John his brother, and bringeth them into a high mountain apart. And he was transfigured before them, and his face did shine as the sun, and his raiment was white as the light. And behold, there appeared to them Moses and Elias talking with him. So like I said, apparently, in the long run, this mistake really didn't cost Moses anything. Because what did he do? He just, like I said, he said, okay, not lead him in the promised land. And he kept on going, doing what God said. Which, if that's us, you don't get discouraged if you make a mistake or something kind of goes wrong for you. You keep on doing what God says, and in the long run, it'll all work out for you. And I think we all know people or have felt like this ourselves. You make a mistake, something goes wrong. What's your first instinct? Quit, walk away, never show your face here again. We've all known people like that. You've never seen them here after something goes wrong. That whole pew where their family sits might be empty, depending on how bad things go. And that's not really how things work, how it should work. If you stick with God and follow him, you're going to make mistakes. But we worship a God that's going to forgive you for all that. And that's a very good thing. That's why he sent Jesus for all of our sins. This was because he knows we're not perfect. He knows we're going to make mistakes. And you know what? Moses, he made mistakes, and you know what? In the end, he's considered one of the top heroes of the Bible. You read through the New Testament, like I said, when they talk about him personally, nothing but good things to say about him. He even gets to pop up for a little while. He gets his little cameo in the New Testament even. So, I mean, in the long run, it didn't hurt Moses any. Like I said, I've always had trouble with it because I never thought of it that way. I looked at it as in the here and the now. You know, again, if I'm Moses, what do you mean I'm not going to get to lead him in the promised land? I've put up with these people for 40 years. What now? Like I said, I've always had trouble with that, and it's because I look at it the wrong way. You got to look at it as God's in charge, you're not. Even if you make a mistake, you stick with God, and it's going to be all right. And that's really my talk. So, Kyle, he said he's going to do the invitation. So.